Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Hayden Coker Show. And I'm so happy to have everybody back. Another week is gone, and we are officially into week 7 of college football. Man, it feels like just yesterday I was in a dove field watching week 1 on my phone, watching Colorado and TCU, and now we're in week 7, which it doesn't even seem real. And I'm excited, and I hope you guys are excited as well. And I'm so happy to have everybody join me today, and I hope that everybody can kind of take something away from today and apply it into what's going to happen Saturday. You got Michigan. Will they win? Yes, more than likely. They got a cupcake this week. Will Oklahoma win? They've got UCF this week. Then you have the next week after that, Oklahoma's got Kansas. That could be a good one as well. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Hayden Coker Show. Once again, the Hayden Coker Show is brought to you by J&K Tire and Steel. J&K Tire specializes in all things tire and automotive. You can go down there and get your oil change. If you need new tires, you can go down there and do that. Anything that you need, they'll get you right. They'll get you right. And you can go down there and mention the Hayden Coker Show, and you'll get $10 off of your next purchase. Now, exciting week this week, guys. And I'm so excited for some of the games this weekend. You have Washington against Oregon. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be in Husky Stadium. Man, I'm hyped for that one. Then you also have Notre Dame and USC. You have Auburn and LSU in Death Valley. You've got Alabama, Arkansas. You've got UCLA, Oregon State. Man, we got so many games going on this weekend. Let's take a look at this past weekend real quick before we get to going any further. Bama beat A&M this past weekend, and that was huge for Alabama. Now, if you look at the rest of their schedule, it really favors them because you have let's see here, you have Texas out of the way, you have Ole Miss out of the way, you have Texas A&M out of the way. I mean, you still have LSU, you still have Tennessee. Those are your main those right there are my main 2 games to look out for because those teams are going to be tough. And you also have Kentucky on the road in Kentucky. And you have Auburn in Jordan-Hare Stadium at the end of the year. Alabama's in the driver's seat when it comes to the SEC West. It's their division to lose. If they end up losing the division, it's because they lose along the way. Somebody else has to get beat. Ole Miss is in second place right now. They beat LSU. Now, with it being Alabama and Ole Miss has to take care of business the rest of the way. But there's a chance that Ole Miss, we could see them in Atlanta at the end of the year. But aside from that, this past weekend, LSU, they beat Missouri in a very, very, very close game. It was a one-possession game, except for at the very end, you had Brady Cook throw a pick 6, and then LSU. That would lead to LSU. That would lead to LSU scoring and making it a 10-point game. It was fun though. That was a fun game to keep up with. I wasn't able to watch it. I was in the booth at Springville calling their Little League games. I had a guy right beside me from Southside. He was streaming the game on his phone, so I got a little peek every now and then. But it's awesome, guys. It's awesome because we're getting into the meat of all these schedules and more games that have how do I say this? Elite company potential. That's what it's coming to. So you got all these eyes on college football now. You got USC and Notre Dame this weekend, 2 blue bloods. Now I know USC within the past few years, they haven't been as great, but now they're here. They got Caleb Williams. They got Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's been fantastic. If he just get a doggone defense, it'd be even better. But it don't look like that's going to happen. If that defense doesn't improve soon, then they are in trouble because we're week 7, and I don't see that defense improving any. So, I don't really know what else to say about USC. But Oklahoma beat Texas this past weekend. That was a huge game that everybody's been looking at. And Oklahoma, that's an interesting one because I have them moving up to number 7 in my poll. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and turn on comments real quick so y'all can go ahead and comment if you would like to. But Oklahoma beating Texas, that was huge for them. If they lose to Texas, that possibly, with them being at 12, that possibly ruins their college football playoff hopes. Now that they've beaten Texas, they have improved their chances tremendously. And they got one of the better quarterbacks in the country, and Dylan Gabriel. He was fantastic on Saturday. So, and by the way, you might hear about Oklahoma again later on in the show when it comes down to my Mad Dog Team of the Week. And I didn't tease anything there, so don't even worry about it. Just keep on listening. Just keep on listening. And then you had Georgia. They beat the absolute snot out of Kentucky. That was that was just not pretty. And I heard my grandma, she moved from a rocking chair. I thought she thought I was about to say something else there. But no, we like to keep it clean on here, keep it PG. But I would like to go ahead and tell you guys that I did try, and we had a plan. So the plan was we were going to be on the road this week. We were going to be on the road last week as well. Camera part didn't come in. This week, camera part didn't come in. So what I'm thinking is I might have gotten scammed. And when I mean that, I ordered it from, and Ash was looking at me like, oh my goodness. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what I did was I ordered a part from pacificparts.com, and it has not come in. I've reached out. I've worked to the best of my ability to try and get to get the part, and it just has not happened. So yeah, we're gonna do our best to get a part soon, and hopefully have this show going live or going mobile soon. We would love that, and we've got a few places in mind. The place in mind that we had was Aztecas in Pell City, and if anybody knows about Aztecas in Pell City, knows that they have some great authentic Mexican food. So hopefully we'll be there soon. But we are gonna make that happen, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I do. Now I'm gonna move on to our first segment where we're gonna talk about Oklahoma and Texas and what all happened this past Saturday. Dylan Gabriel and Quinn Ewers both played a heck of a game. You know, Quinn Ewers had the early 2 picks and wasn't able to really do much in the first quarter. And the 2 picks, by the way, came in the first quarter. So for him to bounce back the way he did, played phenomenal the rest of the game, didn't really make too many mistakes. But Dylan Gabriel was the highlight of this game because he took that Sooners team and they went out and I know they play it on a neutral site, but you go to a neutral site and you beat Texas, man. Good job. Texas was the number 3 in the country. Oklahoma was the number 12 team in the country. Oklahoma's a good football team, guys. I don't know if y'all know that yet, but Oklahoma's a daggum good football team. And you look at Texas. Texas is still a good football team, and they're going to be a good football team come November, come December. And this is going to be a fun team to watch when it comes down to the wire. Something that I'm excited about when it comes to Texas is the rest of their schedule. Now, when you look at the rest of Texas' schedule, you have to look at. So I'm looking at their playoff. I'm looking at their playoff hopes right now, and I don't know. I will say this: I do not know if they're going to be able to win out. Now, if they do, good for them. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be in the Big 12 championship game. Texas and Oklahoma, again, a rematch in which I believe Texas will win that game. Everybody knows the stigma around. You know, it's hard to beat the same team 2 times in one season, and it is. I'll go ahead and say that. I know everybody gets tired of hearing it, but that's just how it goes. And when it comes to conference championship time, in reality, that's what happens. And I think it's very, very fair to say that if Texas and Oklahoma meet again, Texas wins. I also feel like it's fair to say that if they meet again, Oklahoma wins. So it's going to be one of those games that just is kind of like a toss-up. But going back to the game, Gabriel was fantastic, man. Running the ball, throwing the ball. He was fantastic running the ball when he needed to. Had I believe it was 10 carries or 11 carries. He played fantastic. And that's a perk to Dylan Gabriel's game. He can throw it and he can run it, and he does it very effectively on both ends. So Dylan Gabriel, that's a dog, man. If you haven't been paying attention to him, I would suggest it because he is something special. And if you're not, turn on the TV, my man. At Big 12 Network on Saturdays, ESPN. I mean, they're highlighting Oklahoma right now. Oklahoma is going to be good this year, and they're going to be in Dallas, maybe possibly them in Texas. They're going to be in Dallas in AT&T Stadium at the end of the year playing for the Big 12 championship. I do believe anyways. Now, moving on. So I want to talk about, like I said, the rest of Texas and Oklahoma's schedule. Now, for Texas, it's going to be tough. You don't have not Texas, for Oklahoma. You don't have the toughest schedule in the world, but you would like it a little bit easier of a schedule. Coming up this weekend, you have UCF. You play them at home. That I do not think that UCF has what it takes to hang with Oklahoma offensively. Now, if you want to talk about Oklahoma defensively, they've been playing good this year, guys. They've been playing good, and it's time to give them some recognition because most of the time Oklahoma does not have a good defense. Most of the time Texas has a okay defense. But you look at it now, they both have great defenses. So, and the way that Oklahoma's been playing this year, they've been lights out defensively, and that's what you love to see from an Oklahoma team who finished what I believe was 6-7 last year, counting the bowl game. So you got UCF. I think you win that game. Then you have Kansas, and you go to Kansas. That's going to be an interesting one because, look, I know that Kansas is without their starting quarterback right now, Jalen Daniels. I'm not sure if he'll be back for that game or not, but Kansas is a daggum good team. Kansas is very good. And you look at Kansas, you look at Jason Bean. Kansas has speed, and Jason Bean can throw the ball around a little bit, and he can run it too. He can run. I'm not saying he's Dylan Gabriel type of good, but he's good. We all saw that video a few years ago of Jason Bean running the ball and just using some terrible field vision and not running in the end zone when he clearly could have. But that's aside from the fact the kid has grown. The kid is good, and I think people need to realize that. So that'll be a fun one in Kansas. Expect for Kansas to keep that one close and possibly even down to the wire because that's going to be a good game. Oklahoma, and the next week you have Oklahoma at Oklahoma State, which I'm not saying that Oklahoma State is great this year because everybody knows that they're not if you watched Oklahoma State football this year, or just seen them in general. Oklahoma State is not a good football team this year, guys. And Kansas is actually playing them this weekend. Is favored by 3.5 right now. Oklahoma State has a legit shot, though. It's played in Bedlam, it's played in Stillwater. That is going to be a fun football game. And if I'm a college football fan, I'm going to be turning that game on and be paying attention. That's 3 weeks away from now, November 4th. Then you get West Virginia at home. West Virginia making a little noise right now. They're 5-1, I think. West Virginia making a little bit of noise right now. They're playing some pretty good football. I think you win that game. Then you go to BYU. And then people have speculated about BYU this year because they're not what they were in years prior when they had I can't even remember his name from last year. Anyways, you had Zach Wilson before, and then you had last year, I can't remember his name for the life of me, number 3. But with him not being there now it's Keaton Slovis. That's going to be a fun one. I think that BYU can genuinely keep that game close. And with the Big 12 having some pretty good teams this year, and with the depth they have, Oklahoma going through these games, they might get tired. And you look at what Notre Dame's doing right now. I'm not comparing the two at all. Notre Dame is – this will be the 4th straight week that they played a top 25 ranked opponent. And their bye week I don't think comes until week 8 or week 9. So when it comes to these type of teams playing these rough schedules, now look at this. Oklahoma has already had their bye week. So that they had their bye week. I believe it was week. Yeah. I think they've already had their bye week. Yes. So, well, it's not showing right now. Yeah. So they had their bye week this week. Oklahoma has their bye week this week. So they're going to be off. And then they're going to come back and they're going to play Oklahoma, or they're going to play UCF in Oklahoma, though. So that'll be a perk to that game. And then their final game of the season is TCU. I think you beat that team. I think you beat TCU. TCU's good this year. TCU, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. TCU is not great this year. What up, Shepard? I cannot believe that. I cannot believe you're watching the show. And that is insane. Shepard, I appreciate it. And he's live from YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching from YouTube, from Facebook, whichever one, let me know in the comments section. That's awesome, guys. I appreciate it. It pops up a little icon, and I can tell who's watching from what source. So, but yeah, Oklahoma has TCU at the end of the year, and they have them in Oklahoma. So that's going to be a fun one. But I do think that Oklahoma will probably end up winning that game. I hope everybody's liking the Halloween decorations. Ashley, my stepmom, she has put them up, and she has got them rocking. So they look fantastic. I'm not going to lie. I sat down earlier, and it kind of scared me. I was like, "Ooh." So whenever I walk in the dining room, or excuse me, whenever I walk in my studio, it's I get a little scared. It just screams boo at me. I am watching from YouTube. Yes, sir, Shepard. I can tell. It just happens to show the icon right next to your name, Shepard. I appreciate you watching. Let's get the whole Merritt family watching. Get all of Raglan watching while we're at it. So I need you to go outside, spread the word. Go to Dollar General, Shepard, right now. Go outside the Dollar General and tell them, hey, the Hayden Coker Show's live. If you're not watching, what are you doing? Go to the Chevron. Hey, Hayden Coker Show's live, baby. What are you doing? Turn it on. But anyway, Shepard, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate everybody out there that is watching. The show's presented to you by J&K Tire. Thank you, J&K Tire, for sponsoring the show. You can go down to J&K Tire and steal. And hey, man, go tell Tim, man. We need Tim. I haven't seen Tim in here. I need Tim Carter in here. I need Tim Carter in here watching the show. I haven't seen him. But anyways, the show is brought to you by J&K Tire. You can go down to J&K Tire and get your tire changed. Whether you need tire change, you need oil change, new tires, new wheels, whatever you need, you can go down there and you can mention the Hayden Coker Show and get $10 off of your next purchase at J&K Tire. But now I want to switch gears. So we were talking about Oklahoma. Now I want to talk about Texas, the Longhorns, and what they're doing this year. They've done some pretty good things, guys. Texas is good. You suffer a loss though this past weekend to Oklahoma. Now that's a real kick to the gut. But you're off this week. That's good. So Oklahoma and Texas both getting off weeks. You have Houston next. I think you win that game. Houston's not very good this year. I'll go ahead and say that. Houston is not very good. So I think Texas gets a win there pretty easily. Then you have BYU at home. I think you win that game considering it's at home. I think you probably win that game pretty handily. Now, and my camera's shaking. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to touch the table too much. But BYU, the thing with BYU and Oklahoma, whenever they play later in the year, I think they play the week after Texas and BYU play. But the thing is that game is at BYU in Utah. So that is going to be a fun one. Not only is it that, but it's late in the year. BYU is going to be a good team. I believe they're going to be a good team anyways. And then you have Oklahoma. Oklahoma, late in the year, you have the playoffs in your sights. BYU is going to be a team that's going to be looking to end that. So if you're BYU and you want to play upset to one of these teams, by all means, man. But if you're Texas or Oklahoma, look out because it can happen. And I don't want to put that lightly because I do think it can happen. I think you win that game, though, if you're Texas. Then you have Kansas State at home. That's going to be a good one. You have Will Howard, who does some good things over at Kansas State. One of my favorite stadiums of all time in Kansas State. I think you win that game. Then you have TCU at TCU. I think you win there. Then you play at Iowa State. At Iowa State seems to be a tricky game for Texas. And I think you win that game, but I think it's a little bit closer than people might expect, especially with it being in Iowa. And then you have Texas Tech at home. Texas Tech, their rival. That's going to be a fun game. And if nobody's watching Texas Tech this year, they did kind of start off the year slow. You lose 2 straight games. Joey McGuire. People were looking at Joey McGuire for those first 2 games and like, man, we were supposed to be good. You know what's happening? But I do think this team is rolling in the right direction because you're 2-1 ever since. If Texas Tech can really get rolling, that would be fantastic for this team because Texas Tech, I do believe they have a chance to make some noise. Now, I'm not saying make the playoffs or anything. They have 3 losses already. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that if you're Texas, watch out for the end of the year. Go ahead and circle that game because Texas Tech is going to be they're going to be nipping at your heels, man. They're going to be after you. And some of you I know are watching the Braves game. I actually have it on in my living room. And man, not too good for the Braves right now. Not doing very well. Orlando Arcia probably should have never said that. Allegedly, he said "Attaboy Harper" after he was the final out in the double play to end Game 2, and the Rays would end up winning that game and tying the series 1-1. And now Bryce Harper's hit 2 home runs. He had a 3-run home run. I think he hit a solo shot. But so Bryce Harper is owning the Braves Nation right now, and that is not very fun for us. But that is it for Texas and Oklahoma. And I think those 2 teams are going to be something to look at. Those 2 teams are going to be teams to look out for at the end of the year. If they're playing in the Big 12 championship game, that is going to be a fun one to watch. It's going to be dicey. It's going to be fun to watch. The show is brought to you by J&K Tire, and thank you to our sponsors. And Tyler Meads at AIM Mobile Detail. If you're wanting to reset your vehicle to show room condition, Tyler Meads at AIM Mobile Detail. He's got you covered with professional-grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full interior and exterior details. You can call him now at 256-458-9949 or message AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. You can call him now at 256-458-9949 or message him at AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. Hey, football fans, if you need a lawnmower or a tractor or an implement, then go see my friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little city of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment along with other brand items as well. They also have huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. And that is right, 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000. And you can check him out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor, Asheville at Alabama Tractor. Or you can trust their machines and equipment just to work as hard as you do. And I don't put that lightly, guys. Alex knows what he's doing whenever it comes to whether it's selling you a tractor, getting you a part, or whatever. So go out and see Alex Farmer in Asheville, Alabama at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama today. Hey, Pell City, looking to spice up your morning routine? You can try a Chick-fil-A biscuit made with a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken biscuit. Made with a real boneless breast of chicken, seasoned with a spicy pepper blend, and served on a freshly baked buttermilk biscuit just for you. You can stop by and enjoy a spicy chicken biscuit in the morning today. Well, not today, it's night. But you can go by in the morning and get a spicy chicken biscuit at Chick-fil-A in Pell City on Martin Street. You can go by and get spicy chicken biscuit, whatever you want from there. Spicy chicken biscuit is fantastic, by the way. You need to go get it. Anyways, moving on, guys. Now, that first segment, I did go a little long with talking about some Oklahoma and Texas, but there was a lot to talk about. And, I mean, when I tell you that both those teams are going to be very, very good by the end of the year, I do believe that wholeheartedly. Now, next up, I want to give everybody my top 10. Now, I posted my top 10 this past Sunday. I usually have it up by at 10 o'clock Central Time. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the number 10 team. I'll go ahead and start with the first three out. How about that? So at 13, I have Ole Miss. At 12, I have USC. And at 11, I have the North Carolina Tar Heels. Fred Thorne says RTR, Mr. Fred, RTR. But so my first three out are Ole Miss, USC, and North Carolina. And those are some good teams. Just peeking on the outside, looking in, not too much of a threat to the college football playoff or anything like that, especially USC and Ole Miss. But and I don't think North Carolina is there. So I don't think none of those teams are going to make the college football playoff. But coming in at number 10, we have Alabama. Alabama coming off a big win against Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M not ranked, but they probably should be. I have them in my top 25. They are a very good team. And they have the power to possibly win the SEC West this year. But Alabama's got to lose some because they just lost to Alabama. So look out for Texas A&M throughout the rest of the year. They are 4-2 right now. Then you coming in at number 9, I have Texas. Texas is number 9. I feel like they should stay ahead of Alabama, especially because of how they beat Alabama earlier on in the year. You lose to Oklahoma, I get it, but you still beat Alabama earlier in the year. I have them at number 9. Number 8, I have Florida State. I have Florida State low because of now. Granted, you go out there and you do what you do against against LSU. LSU has proven that they are not the team that everybody thought they were. I'm not taking anything away from Florida State. I just don't think that they're within the top 5 right now. Oregon. Number 7, I have Oklahoma. Coming to number 7, I have Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a big win this past weekend against Texas. They played phenomenal. Dylan Gabriel played lights out, and you had the defense step up when needed. You forced Texas to have to settle for a field goal at the end of the game, which eventually led to the offense scoring a touchdown to win the game. So the defense really helped out this past Saturday. If you're Oklahoma, I have Oklahoma at number 7. Coming to number 6, I have the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks have been playing fantastic so far this year. Coming at quarterback, Bo Nix, he's been playing fantastic. I don't really know what else to say about Bo Nix. ESPN Bound, Alex Banks, man, I appreciate you, brother. We appreciate it and everything that you do. And I see your Bible stories or your Bible videos that you post on Instagram, man. I really like that. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. And we wish you all the best, Mr. Alex Banks. But number 6, we have Oregon. That offense is good, man. And do not sleep on that defense. They are very good. They're going to be tested this upcoming weekend against Washington, the number 5 team for Hayden in the Hayden Coker Show top 10. Or Hayden, the Hayden Coker Show top 25. But That's still a good defense, guys. Regardless of what happens this weekend, that is a good team. That is a good defense. The offense is fantastic. We're going to see how it goes this upcoming weekend. And whoever wins just might move their way up into the Hayden Coker Show top 4. We will see coming Sunday morning. Number 5, we have Washington. The Huskies have been playing outstanding this year. Defensively, there are some question marks, but they are better than USC defensively. I don't think that USC is that good. But yeah, I've got Washington number 5. Offensively, they're the best team in the country when it comes to offense. I would like to see their defense step up this weekend against Oregon, which I think they will, and Washington will go on to win that game. We'll save that for later in the show. But yeah, I've got Washington at number 5, and at number 4, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. And Ohio State's been playing some good ball here lately. You get a big win a few weeks ago at Notre Dame on the final drive of the game, and really it was a buzzer beater pretty much. So you beat Notre Dame, you get a good win. You coming off the bye week. Let's see how they do this week. And it's going to be fun, guys. Ohio State's a good team, and I feel like everybody needs to be watching them right now. Coming in at number 3, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions. And I know there was some controversy about me putting Penn State at number 3, especially with how their offense has been kind of so far this year. Penn State has the number 1 defense in the nation, guys. Let me just go ahead and say that right now. Their defense is fantastic, and I will explain that in just a second. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do that now since I'm on the topic. We'll go ahead and break it down. We're going to go max Penn State. So they've got a monster backfield, guys. You got Katron Allen, and you've got Nick Singleton. That two-headed monster. Katron Allen is not even the best running back on the team, and he's got more yards so far than Nick Singleton. Nick Singleton has got him beat when it comes to touchdowns, but Katron Allen has been playing some really good ball right now. Now, when it comes to Drew Aller, Drew Aller does need some work. He does play like an experienced quarterback. I will say that. He's not necessarily great when it comes to throwing the ball downfield. They only average about 6.5 yards per attempt, but he averages around 10 yards per completion. So if you're Drew Aller, if you can get the ball downfield, now I do realize that there was a video earlier yesterday, I do believe. It was a reporter asking James Franklin a question, asking him if he ever just thought about throwing the ball downfield with no carry on. And James Franklin's response was priceless. He was like, "Man, I don't think we've ever tried to told our guys to throw the ball downfield without any care in the world, if they're open or not, regardless." I mean, it was just kind of like an asinine question, kind of. It was just kind of dumb, like a very dumbfounded question. And I'm not sure why the reporter asked it, but he gave us some good content yesterday, and I got a pretty good laugh out of it as James Franklin answered. And but anyways, moving on from that, I would like to see Aller push the ball downfield a little bit more. But and I will say it's not. I think that if he can just feel more comfortable, and he's got to get more comfortable in the pocket. And his wide receivers going downfield, do not throw it up with no carry at all. You've got to be comfortable. You've got to see that something's open. Do not throw the ball downfield, like that reporter asked or said. But you're going to get dumb questions in this world, and that's something I've thought about for a while, and that's something that I have come to realize over the past few weeks. But no, Drew Aller, I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to find his groove throughout the rest of the year. I realize this is his first year starting when there's been no question. I realize that, but I think he's going to be just fine. I don't think Penn State really has anything to worry about. Their defense is going to hold them up. Their defense is fantastic. And coming up when you play Ohio State, Michigan later in the year, we're going to find out. And I think Penn State's they have Ohio State in a few weeks. So we're definitely going to find out then. Big rivalry game, and I cannot wait to watch that game. But Keandre Lambert-Smith, when it comes to the wide receiver spot, he's been pretty good this year. He's got 25 receptions for just over 370 yards, and he's got the talent. And that's what Penn State needs. When it comes to Penn State and their wide receiver position, it's not the best in the world, but when you have a defense that can back you up, your offense, when you have the number 1 defense in the nation, your offense does not have to be great. And let's just look at, I say look at Georgia, but Georgia put up 51 points this past weekend on on the top 25 ranked Kentucky Wildcats, which I don't think they were a top 25 team, but they were according to the Associated Press. But he's got 3 touchdowns this year. Keandre Lambert-Smith does anyways. I think he's going to be good. Tyler Warren, man, when he gets in the red zone, that's who Penn State's going to target, guys. Tyler, he's good. And if you have not watched him play this year, if you have not watched Penn State, turn them on, watch them, and then watch Drew Aller target the tight end position, especially in the red zone. Now, when he's out of it, he likes to go more to his wide receivers, but he likes to slip it out to his running backs as well. Lambert Smith, the top targeted wide receiver on their team right now. And then guess who it is? I'll just give you a second to guess. It's so here we go. It's Lambert Smith, and then it's Singleton, then it's Tyler Warren, and then it's running back again, and then you got wide receiver. So he likes to target his running backs and his tight ends. So I like how Drew Aller plays, and I like how he looks. So I think that Penn State's going to be just fine. Now on the defensive side of the ball, you have Zane Durant. Dude, if you're not watching Zane Durant, dude, what are you doing? One of the best defensive ends in the country right now, up and coming too. I mean, that dude's good. If you have not watched Zane Durant play, you need to go flip the tape, look up his highlights, look up Penn State highlights or whatever you want to do. Go to that, watch his tape, come back to me and be like, "Oh man, I'm so happy you told me about Durant because that dude is a monster. He is a dog." And that's what I'm looking for Penn State this year. They've got to be consistent on the offensive side of the ball, but their defense is holding them up strongly. So he's going to be fantastic. And look at this, dude. So when it comes to injuries, there isn't that many when it comes to Penn State, and that's what's good. You're going into the bye week. Your team's healthy. Get everybody back healthy. That you tweak an ankle in practice. Get healthy. You're going into the bye week. You come back out, and then we'll talk. We'll see what's going on. See how you're doing. And then we're good. How you doing? Keep it moving. Let's do it. So I definitely think that Penn State is that number 3 team right now. I know that's controversial, but we'll see how it plays out when it comes to later on in the year. Now, the number 2 team I have in the country, people didn't like this pick either. I have Georgia at the number 2 spot, and that's just simply because I don't think that they're a better team than Michigan. I think Michigan's the number 1 team right now. You look at their offensively, they're good. Defensively, they are very, very sound. Their offensive line is in my eyes, one of the best in the country right now, if not the best. And they can run the ball. They can grind it out. I realize Georgia has a good defense. If they went toe-to-toe right now on the neutral side, I do believe that Michigan would win that football game. Like I said, I have Georgia at number 2, Michigan at number 1. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Hayden Coker Show Top 10. You have any more questions? Let me know. Talk to me in the comments, guys. This show is brought to you by J&K Tire. Also, thank you to our sponsors at thank you to Tyler Meads at A Mobile Detail. Are you wanting to get your vehicle reset and show room condition? Well, Tyler Meads at A Mobile Detail has you covered with professional grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full interior and exterior details. You can call him now at 256-458-9949. That's 256-458-9949. Or message him at A Mobile Detail on Facebook. Hey, football fans, if you need a lawnmower, a tractor, or an implement, then you can go see my friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little town of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue in Asheville, Alabama. That's 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000. And check him out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor. Asheville at Alabama Tractor. You can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. And that's the bottom line, guys. If you're looking for something to spice up your day, or maybe if you're looking for something sweet. Now, I know a lot of people out there do not like pimento cheese, but let me just tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, the pimento cheese sandwich at Chick-fil-A is bomb, dude. Have you heard about the new seasonal sandwich at Chick-fil-A? The new honey pepper pimento cheese chicken sandwich is a twist on the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. It features an original Chick-fil-A filet drizzled with honey, topped on a pimento cheese, and served on a warm toasted bun with mild pickled jalapenos. Let me just tell you, man, it is fantastic. This past week, last Thursday, I was lucky enough to have one, and man, let me just tell you, if you have not had one, dude, go try it before it runs out of the season. I think the last day is November 11th. So go down there to Chick-fil-A and get you a Chick-fil-A pimento cheese sandwich. It is fantastic, and I promise you, you will not be let down. I'm telling you, I don't even like pimento cheese, and I thought the doggone thing was great. I thought it was fantastic. Matthew McKinney, thank you for joining, man. Thank you for joining. We're talking a little bit of football today. Everybody knows that. We are the Hayden Coker Show, and that's what we are here to do. Now, I want to move on to my next segment and give you my top 5 SEC teams, baby. It is that time again. Coming in number 5, I have none other than the LSU Tigers. The LSU Tigers coming in number 5 for me. And LSU, not what I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be very good. Now they still have a chance to have a very good season, but with 2 losses already, definitely doesn't make it any better. And Matthew McKinney says college playoff tonight live at 7 Row. Yes, sir. I will be sure to tune in. But before that, we will continue with the Hayden Coker Show. At number 5, we have LSU, and at number 4, we have Texas A&M. I have Texas A&M over LSU because I feel like I'm a little bit more confident in A&M right now than I am LSU. A&M is better defensively. Now, offensively, LSU's got the upper hand. Defensively, though, A&M is better. A&M is better than a lot of teams defensively. That defense is good. And they showed against Alabama this weekend. They did end up losing that game, but that's still a good defense, guys. And don't take that lightly. Coming in number 3, I have the Ole Miss Rebels or Land Sharks. Whatever you want to call Ole Miss. We have Ole Miss coming in number 3. I have faith in that offense, man. Lane Kiffin's going to take that offense to a new level. And defensively, they're not a bad team. So watch out for Ole Miss. And they give up 50 points to LSU. But that's one of the best teams in the country. Now, downside to LSU, they have like the 4th best offense in the country. But their defense is like 113th in the country right now. So it's not pretty when it comes for LSU, especially on the defensive side of the football. But I think that LSU, I know they're in trouble this year. They've got to find something out. They've got to get some help on that defensive side of the football because they look atrocious. But Ole Miss is my number 3 team right now. And coming in at number 2, I have none other than the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Alabama Crimson Tide, ever since they lost to Texas, you have a few rough games. All right. Now you have that tough game at USF, man. And ever since those 2 games, man, you've really bounced back. You've looked good. Jalen Milroe has taken strides, and he has looked better than ever. So I definitely think that this Alabama team is deserving of that number 2 spot in the SEC. Number 1, unfortunately, is the Georgia Bulldogs, and nobody is better than the Georgia Bulldogs right now, except for maybe the Michigan Wolverines, and that's still up in the air. Even if you ask that question to some experts. So I think that question is up in the air. But number 1 in the SEC, that's the Georgia Bulldogs, man. And you can't get no better than that. You cannot get better than what they have been so far in the SEC. Georgia has just been fantastic. I say fantastic. Before last week, everybody was nervous. They're like, hey, man, what's going on with their offense? Defensively, they're good. Their offense does not look great at all. They're on the same page. Carson Beck shut the haters up, man. And let me just tell you, Carson Beck, he earned my respect last week. And especially when they played at Auburn, he really dug deep. With last week when they played Kentucky, they just tore them up, man. They chewed the Wildcats up, and they spit them out. So I have Georgia as my number 1 SEC team right now, and I have no doubt that they're the number 1 SEC team and the number 2 team in the country. Now the question is, Georgia looking like the SEC East is theirs. Now you're going to have to play some other teams. You're going to have to play Florida. You're still going to have to play Tennessee. But look at Alabama. Who does Alabama have to play? Who does Alabama have to play? Who comes in between Alabama and the SEC West? Let me just tell you right now. If a team in the SEC West has something to say about it, it's going to have to be A&M. Now, obviously, I think that Alabama's going to have to get beat. If Arkansas beat Bama this weekend, that would help A&M huge. That would be massive for A&M. So if they can win, they have 2 losses, but their only SEC loss is Alabama. The other loss was Miami earlier in the year in week 2. So A&M, if you're going to win the SEC West, you need to step up and do something. Ole Miss, if you're going to step up and win the SEC West, you got to do something. You're going to have a team. You're going to have some help, obviously, with Alabama beating both those teams in the past few weeks. But guys, this is a Bama team that has really taken strides since week 1. Week 1, you had Middle Tennessee State. Didn't look good. Middle Tennessee State, you looked all right, or you looked good. Week 2, you had Texas. You just kind of meh. You looked all right. Then you play USF. You looked absolutely terrible. And Jalen Milroe didn't play in that game, which many people believe was a discipline issue. And honestly, I do believe that, because I think Nick Saban, he would have the best player on the field at all times, or he was just trying to show everybody, hey, this is our best bet. But I don't think Nick Saban's not want to do that. So I definitely think that it was a discipline problem when it came to Alabama and USF and Jalen Milroe. You've bounced back and you've looked fantastic. You get a win against Ole Miss. You get a win against Mississippi State. You get a win against Texas A&M. So this Alabama team looks good. Now, is somebody going to step in their way? I don't think so, man. The SEC West looks like it's going to Alabama, and I have to – now, season's not over yet. I did pick Alabama, though, to win the West in preseason. But anyways, I do think that Alabama, they're a very good team. They're very sound. But I do think that they need to improve offensively. They will. Jalen Milroe is taking strides. They will improve throughout the year, and expect this team to be – if they don't lose again, man, look for this team to be in a college football playoff hunt, because this can be a deadly team. And especially watch out Georgia, especially when it comes to SEC championship time, because if it's Alabama and Georgia, watch out, man, because this is not that Georgia team from last year. They are definitely vulnerable, I do think, but we'll see how it goes throughout the rest of the year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to keep up with. But now I want to tell you about my sponsors at AIM Mobile Detail. Tyler Means, thank you, buddy. Are you wanting to reset your vehicle to show room condition? Well, Tyler Means at AIM Mobile Detail has got you covered, and with professional-grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, full interior and exterior details. You can call him now at 256-458-9949. That's 256-458-9949, or message him at AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. And hey, football fans, if you need a lawnmower, a tractor, or an implement, you can go see my friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little city of none other than Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment, along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located in 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. That's 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000. Check him out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor and Asheville at Alabama Tractor. You can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. And that's just the bottom line, guys. They'll get you covered over there at Alabama Tractor, especially at AIM Mobile Detail too. They'll get you covered. If you need your car detailed, they got you covered, man. And have you heard about the new seasonal Chick-fil-A sandwich? The new honey pepper pimento cheese chicken sandwich is a twist on the original Chick-fil-A sandwich. It features an original Chick-fil-A drizzled with honey, topped with pimento cheese, and served on a warm toasted bun with mild pickled jalapenos. And guys, don't be scared whenever I say jalapenos. They take the seeds out. It's not bad. Trust me, I know, because I've tried it, and I don't like jalapenos. And it wasn't hot. I can't stand jalapenos if they have the seeds in them, but they take the seeds out, and it's actually very good. So go down there and try it, man. It's fantastic. You can go down there to Chick-fil-A on Martin Street in Pell City. They'll serve you up. They'll get it right. You need to go to work. They'll get you in and out quickly. You got it, guys. Now, we are moving into the final segment of our show, and we're taking some picks for this upcoming weekend, guys. How about it? We have Iowa, Wisconsin, USC, Notre Dame. We have Miami, UNC. We have Auburn, LSU, Washington, and Oregon. We have Louisville at Pitt. We got some good games this weekend, man. Alabama and Arkansas. I'm going to pick all those games in just a second. But I want to tell you about J&K Tire. J&K Tire sponsors the Hayden Coker Show. Thank you to Kurt and the gang. Wow, I can't talk. Kurt and the gang at J&K Tire and Steel. You go down to J&K Tire and mention the Hayden Coker Show, and you can get $10 off your next purchase. That's $10 off your next purchase if you mention the Hayden Coker Show. Now, Iowa at Wisconsin. Two awful offenses versus two very good defenses. How is this one going to play out? Hayden, you're wearing a Wisconsin shirt. You can't pick Wisconsin on the show. Hayden, you can't pick Iowa. You can't go against your team that you're wearing. I can't win if I'm wearing this shirt. So you know what I'm going to do? And my shirt back came off. Woo. We don't do that for free on here, guys. We don't do that for free. We keep it family friendly on here. But now I can actually make a pick without any bias because I took the sweatshirt off. Oh man, it's tough. at Wisconsin. They're my guys, man. I love Wisconsin. It is at Wisconsin. It's in Camp Randall. Will Well, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not necessarily sure what happened, but we are back. I'm going to go ahead and give my picks in the broadcast. I'm actually on my phone right now. My computer has been wonky, so I'm so sorry about that. But Iowa, Wisconsin. I'm going with Wisconsin. I think at Camp Randall they got it, and I think they keep it going. They roll with it at home. I think they get it going. They win that game. Wisconsin wins. USC at Notre Dame. I'll keep this quick for you. Um, I think that Notre Dame has had a rough few weeks. Even though with it being at South Bend, I don't think that Notre Dame can. I don't think they can keep up with USC's offense and defensively. I mean, defensively, I think that Notre Dame is going to be all right. I mean, it's tough because that's one of the best offenses in the country when it comes to USC. But I just don't think that Notre Dame is going to be able to keep up. I'm going with the underdogs in this one and going with USC. Miami at North Carolina. Now, this is going to be a fun one. Now, Miami keeps this game close, I do believe. Now, when it comes to an upset, could it happen? Yes. Will it happen? No, I don't think so. North Carolina is a good team this year. They're good offensively. Now, I know you haven't played necessarily anybody up to your level of talent, anyways. But I do think that you get. Do think that you get this game done. I think you get the win here, and North Carolina beats Miami. UCLA at Oregon State. I'm rolling with the Beavers and Oregon State, especially with them being on their home turf. USC struggles offensively, but defensively they are pretty sound. Arkansas at Bama. It's going to be a fun one. I do believe KJ Jefferson's really got a chance to, prove everybody wrong. This Arkansas team done? Is Sam Pittman going to be gone by the end of the year? I don't think so. I think it's going to take something drastic to happen. For them, they must have to lose out or something for Sam Pittman to be fired by the end of the year. I think that Arkansas is going to keep this game close at first, but I think Alabama ends up winning this game toward the end of the third quarter and end of the fourth quarter. I think they probably run away with it. Auburn at LSU. Auburn's got the defense, but, buddy, they do not have the offense to keep up with LSU. LSU wins by 10. Florida at South Carolina. Florida cannot play on the road. I just don't have confidence in this team. Graham Mertz is good this year. He's been playing phenomenal, but I'm going with South Carolina and the Gamecocks. Now A&M at Tennessee. This is going to be a fun one. I would love to sit here with confidence and say that A&M wins this. I'm not sure, man. I think that Tennessee's probably going to win this game. Tennessee's a pretty good ball team this year. Now, when it comes to Joe Milton, is he going to be able to lead this team to a win? It's in Neyland Stadium, thankfully for Tennessee. It's not at A&M. So this is a tough game to pick. I don't think that A&M can compete offensively. I think that Tennessee runs the ball. They run the ball well. They run the ball well enough to win the game. And I think Tennessee escapes A&M. Louisville at Pitt. Now, this is going to be a fun game because Louisville is coming off a big win. When I mean big win, I mean huge win not at Notre Dame, but they had Notre Dame at home. Huge win for them. So I think that Louisville wins this game. I think that they win it very, very, very close. So I'm not sure if last time I checked, the line was at 8. I don't think that Louisville covers 8. I think it might be a little bit closer than that, possibly a 6-point game, a 3-point game, a 7-point game, somewhere around there. But I do think that Louisville wins this game, and they improve and keep their undefeated record. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Hayden Coker Show. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm so sorry. I will be better next week, and hopefully my Wi-Fi doesn't go out next week, but we will be better and back and better than ever next week. I do apologize. But the Hayden Coker Show is brought to you by J&K Tire. J&K Tire and Service would like to help support the Hayden Coker Show. He's a young man with a lot of talent and knowledge, and we are proud to support him. You can mention the Hayden Coker Show and receive $10 off of any service at J&K Tire. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties, but I will see you later and have a great night.